There is a moment in life when everything seems stuck. Doors closing, opportunities slipping away, prayers that seem to echo into silence. And then, almost without warning, something shifts. Suddenly, what was impossible begins to flow. Money arrives from places you never expected. Doors open that you did not even knock on. People appear with the exact help you needed. The same life that yesterday seemed locked, today starts to unlock, as if an invisible hand had quietly turned the key. What if I told you that this shift, this sudden moment of breakthrough is not random? What if I told you that there is one specific thing you can do tonight, before you close your eyes to sleep, that could begin to unlock your prosperity in ways you have never experienced before? If you are watching this right now, it is not by chance. Something inside you is searching, listening, waiting. And before we go any deeper into what may be the most important message you receive this year, I want to ask you to do something simple. Pause for just a moment and write in the comments below the word yes. Just that one word, yes. Because by typing it, you are declaring to your own mind, to your own soul, and to the invisible forces that govern this universe, that you are ready. Ready to receive. Ready to align. Ready for the prosperity that has always been written for you. Stay close to me through this message, because in the next few minutes you're going to discover the exact biblical foundation behind this nightly practice, the teachings that Napoleon Hill spent decades verifying through interviews with the most successful men and women of his era, and the precise steps you can take tonight, in less than 15 minutes before you fall asleep. This is not theory. This is not empty motivation. This is a spiritual technology that has been used silently by people of faith for generations. And tonight, it can be yours. Let me begin with a truth that most people never hear. The Bible says in the book of Psalms, chapter 127, verse 2, that God gives to his beloved even in their sleep. Read that again in your heart. He gives to his beloved even in their sleep. This single verse contains a revelation that, if you absorb it deeply, can change the entire trajectory of your financial life, your emotional life, and your spiritual life. Because what it tells you is this: there is a dimension of provision, of multiplication, of breakthrough that God reserves not for your effort, not for your striving, not for your anxious calculations during the day, but for the moment when you surrender to rest. There is a flow of abundance that activates only when you stop pushing and start trusting. And the ancient sages knew this. The masters of the desert knew this. The prophets knew this. And Napoleon Hill, after interviewing more than 500 of the wealthiest men of his time, came to the exact same conclusion. Napoleon Hill said that the subconscious mind works continuously, whether you are awake or asleep, but the way you fall asleep determines what it builds. Napoleon Hill said that the subconscious mind accepts as true any idea that is repeated with enough emotion, and that the moments before sleep are the most powerful programming windows in the human experience. Think about that. Every night, for the last 10 years, the last 20 years, the last 30 years of your life, you have been programming your subconscious mind. The question is not whether you have been programming it. The question is what you have been programming it with. If you fall asleep watching the news, scrolling through other people's lives on social media, replaying arguments in your head, worrying about bills, fearing the future, then night after night, you have been planting seeds of scarcity, anxiety, and limitation in the most fertile soil of your being. And then you wake up and wonder why the harvest of your life looks the way it does. But here is the beautiful, almost shocking truth. The same soil that has been growing weeds for decades can grow gardens of abundance almost overnight if you change what you plant. And tonight, you are going to learn exactly how to plant differently. I want you to understand something deeply before we go further. The Bible is not just a religious book. It is a spiritual operating manual for how the human mind, the human spirit, and the invisible laws of this universe interact. When King David wrote in Psalm 23 that the Lord prepares a table before him in the presence of his enemies, he was revealing a principle. The table of abundance is not prepared when conditions are perfect. It is prepared in the middle of opposition, in the middle of difficulty, in the middle of what looks like impossibility. Provision flows not in the absence of darkness, but through faith in the middle of darkness. And how do you cultivate that kind of faith? You cultivate it in the silence of the night, when no one is watching, when no one is applauding, when it is just you and God, and the still small voice that speaks louder than any storm. Napoleon Hill called this state the state of definite belief. He wrote that a clear desire mixed with faith, repeated with emotion, and held in the mind during the moments before sleep, becomes a magnetic force that begins to attract its physical equivalent. He saw this in the lives of Andrew Carnegie, of Henry Ford, of Thomas Edison. None of them prospered by accident. Each of them, in their own way, had developed the habit of feeding their subconscious mind with vivid, emotional, faith-filled images of their goals, especially during the quiet hours of the evening. They went to bed seeing what they wanted to build, feeling it as if it were already real, giving thanks for it before any evidence appeared. And the unseen world, obedient to spiritual law, began to arrange the people, the ideas, and the opportunities to bring it into form. Now you might be thinking, but I have tried positive thinking before. I have tried affirmations. I have tried visualization. And nothing changed, and I understand that frustration, I really do, but let me tell you why most attempts at this fail. Most people try to do these practices during the day when their conscious, critical, doubting mind is fully awake and ready to argue with every positive statement they make. They say, "I am abundant," and immediately a voice in their head says, "No, you are not. Look at your bank account." They say, "I am successful," and the same voice says, "Then why are things so hard?" And so the affirmation never reaches the deeper part of the mind where transformation actually happens. It bounces off the surface and disappears like rain on stone. But at night, in the 33 minutes before you fall asleep, something extraordinary happens in your brain. The activity slows down. You move from the busy frequency of analytical thinking into a softer, slower rhythm, what some call alpha, and then into the deeper rhythm of theta, the frequency of dreams, of deep prayer, and of direct communication with the subconscious mind. In these slower frequencies, the critical guardian of the conscious mind goes quiet. The voice that argues, doubts, and rejects stops speaking, and the door to the subconscious opens wide. Whatever is repeated, felt, and believed in this window goes directly into the soil of your inner garden. There is no resistance, there is no filter, there is only acceptance. And this is why what you do for just one night, done correctly, can begin to unlock things that years of daytime effort could not. The book of Proverbs, chapter 3, verse 24 says, "When you lie down, you will not be afraid. When you lie down, your sleep will be sweet." This is not just poetry. This is instruction. The condition of your sleep determines the condition of your life. A heart that lies down in fear lies down in scarcity. A heart that lies down in faith lies down in increase. And so the question I want to ask you tonight, gently but firmly, is this. What have you been feeding your mind in the last hour before you sleep? Have you been feeding it the noise of the world or the voice of the Spirit? Have you been feeding it the panic of headlines or the peace of promises? Have you been feeding it images of what you fear or images of what you are called to inherit? Take a moment with that question. Do not rush past it, because the answer to that question is, more than you may realize, the answer to why your life looks the way it does. If this is already beginning to speak to you, I want you to do one more small thing. Tap that like button right now. Not as a favor to me, but as an act of agreement, an act of declaration that you are taking this seriously. There is something powerful about taking even a small physical action when something true touches your heart. It anchors the truth. It seals the moment. And that small tap tells the platform to bring this message to more people who need to hear it tonight. Imagine how many souls right now are lying awake, anxious, exhausted, ready to give up and have no idea that one simple shift before sleep could begin to change everything. Your gesture could be the bridge that carries this message to them. So go ahead, tap that button and let us continue. Now I want to take you deeper. I want to show you what the masters of the Spirit knew about the night and what science has only recently confirmed. There is a reason that throughout the Bible, breakthroughs happen at night. Jacob wrestled with the angel at night and walked away with a new name and a new destiny. Solomon received the dream of wisdom at night and woke up as the wisest king in history. The shepherds heard the announcement of the Messiah at night, while everyone else was asleep. The angel released Peter from prison at night, with chains falling from his wrists in the silence. Why night? Why always night? Because night is the realm of the subconscious. Night is when the mind quiets, the spirit speaks, and the invisible becomes audible. The world thinks day is when things happen, but heaven works most powerfully at night. Napoleon Hill, in his masterwork, wrote that the subconscious mind is most receptive to suggestion during the twilight period between wakefulness and sleep. He called it the creative state, and he taught that any person who wants to transform their financial reality should never go to bed without first feeding the subconscious mind a clear, emotional, and grateful picture of the life they desire. Every night, without fail, for as long as it takes until the subconscious accepts it as truth, and the physical world begins to mirror that truth back. But here is what most people do not understand. The shift does not always feel dramatic. Often it begins as a quiet sense of peace. You wake up one morning and you are not afraid the way you used to be. You face a problem and a solution comes to your mind that you would never have thought of before. You walk into a room and someone offers you an opportunity that has nothing to do with what you said. You receive a message, a phone call, a chance encounter. Things start to align. Doors that were shut start to creak open. People who were silent start to respond. And one day you look around and realize that the life you are living was not built by your striving. It was built by your surrender. It was given to you while you slept. This is what the title of this message promised you. Suddenly, everything will start working out. And that word suddenly is one of the most important words in the entire Bible. It appears at every moment of breakthrough. Suddenly, a great earthquake. Suddenly, there came a sound from heaven. Suddenly, the angel stood by him. Suddenly, because that is how God moves, not slowly, not gradually, but suddenly. After a long season of silence, of preparation, of unseen work in the soil of the soul, the harvest comes all at once. And the night before that, suddenly, is the night of alignment, the night of decree, the night of surrender, the night that, if you do it correctly, can change the entire trajectory of what comes next. Let me show you now, step by step, what to do tonight. Not in some complicated ritual, not in some technique that requires hours, but in a simple, sacred process that, done with intention and faith, can begin to shift everything. Listen carefully, because what you are about to receive is the kind of teaching that men used to pay teachers for years to inherit. The first step is to silence the outside world. About 1 hour before you intend to sleep, you must begin to disconnect from the noise. Turn off the television, put down the phone, close the social media, step away from the news. Everything that the world feeds your mind in the final hour before sleep goes directly into the soil of your subconscious. So if the world is feeding you fear, anxiety, comparison, and lack, that is what gets planted. And that is what grows. So you must create a protected space, dim the lights, light a candle if you wish, play soft instrumental music, or simply let silence fill the room. Tell your mind gently but firmly that the day is over and the time of inner work has begun. This is not laziness. This is not escapism. This is the most strategic, most powerful, most prosperity-building hour of your day. Because what you plant now, you will harvest for weeks, for months, for years. The second step is to breathe and release. Sit comfortably or lie down with your spine relaxed. Close your eyes and begin to breathe consciously. Breathe in slowly through your nose, counting to 4. Hold the breath gently for 4. And exhale slowly through your mouth, counting to 6. Repeat this cycle for at least 5 minutes. Do not rush. As you breathe, imagine that with every exhale you are releasing every worry, every disappointment, every heaviness of the day. Imagine them leaving your body like a gray mist that dissolves into the night. And with every inhale, imagine that you are breathing in light, breathing in peace, breathing in the presence of God, breathing in the energy of the abundance that has already been prepared for you. This kind of breathing does something that science now confirms. It calms the nervous system, lowers your heart rate, and shifts your brain into the slower rhythms where transformation becomes possible. But more than that, it does something spiritual. Fiat quiets the noise of the self so that the voice of the spirit can be heard. The third step is to declare. This is where most people are doing it wrong, and I want to teach you the correct way. With your eyes still closed, with your breathing slow and deep, begin to speak quietly with feeling, the truth about who you are and what is coming to you. Do not speak as if you are begging. Do not speak as if you are hoping. Speak as if you are remembering something that is already yours. The Bible says in the book of Job, chapter 22, verse 28, "You will also declare a thing, and it will be established for you. So light will shine on your ways." Declare, not request, not wish. Declare. And what you declare in faith, sealed with feeling, in the sacred window before sleep, the universe is bound by spiritual law to begin to arrange around you. So speak. Speak softly, but with conviction. Say, "I am a child of the Most High God. I am the heir of every promise written for me. Prosperity flows to me as naturally as breath flows through my lungs. Doors open before me because I walk in alignment with my purpose. Money serves me, blesses me, and multiplies through my hands. I am surrounded by divine favor. I am led every day by holy ideas. I am loved, I am guided, I am provided for. Everything that belongs to me by divine right is finding its way to me right now, even as I sleep." Choose 3 or 4 declarations. Repeat each one slowly between 5 and 10 times. Let each word land. Let each phrase sink into the soil. Napoleon Hill said that a thought mixed with feeling and faith becomes an irresistible force. So do not just speak, feel. Feel as you speak. Feel the gratitude of it being true. Feel the relief of the prayer already answered. Feel the peace of the burden already lifted. I want to pause here, because I know that for many of you, this is the moment when the inner resistance rises. A voice in your head says, "But this is not true. Look at the evidence. Look at your situation." And I want to address that voice directly. That voice is the voice of every lie you have ever been told, every disappointment you have ever survived, every failure that tried to define you. But that voice does not have the final word. The final word belongs to the one who created you, and he has already declared that he has plans for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a future and a hope. So when the voice of doubt rises, do not argue with it. Just keep declaring, just keep planting, because the seed is more powerful than the soil's history. And every word you speak in faith is a seed that the dark cannot stop. The 4th step is to visualize. With the affirmation still echoing in your mind, begin to see. Begin to see the life you are being called into. See yourself waking up in the home you dream of. See the morning light on the walls, the peace on your face, the gratitude in your heart. See yourself opening a bank statement and smiling at the balance. See yourself blessing your family, paying off every debt, giving generously to causes you love. See yourself walking into the place of your purpose, doing the work you were created to do with confidence and clarity. See it not as a fantasy, but as a memory of a future that already exists in the mind of God for you. Feel it. Touch it. Let it become real in your body before it becomes real in the world, because the subconscious mind speaks the language of images, not arguments. And the more vivid, the more emotional, the more sensory the image, the deeper it is planted. Napoleon Hill said that imagination is the workshop of the soul, and that every great accomplishment ever achieved was first a picture in the mind of someone who believed before there was evidence. So tonight, become that someone. Become the one who sees before there is anything to see, who believes before there is anything to believe in, who gives thanks before there is anything to thank for. Because that is the kind of faith that moves mountains. That is the kind of faith that unlocks heaven. That is the kind of faith that draws suddenly out of the silence. The 5th step is to give thanks. After the affirmations, after the visualization, you enter into a state of deep, holy gratitude. And this is the seal of the entire ritual. Gratitude is the vibration of having already received. It is the spiritual proof that you trust. Without gratitude, the whole process remains incomplete. With gratitude, it becomes irrevocable. So whisper, with your whole heart, "Thank you. Thank you for the life that is unfolding. Thank you for the doors that are opening. Thank you for the provision that is already on its way. Thank you for the people who are already being moved on my behalf. Thank you for the favor that surrounds me. Thank you for loving me before I deserved it, for choosing me before I knew it, for preparing me even when I could not see it. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Let the gratitude fill your chest. Let it spill into a quiet tear if it must. Let it overflow into a smile in the dark, because gratitude in advance is the language of those who walk by faith and not by sight. And then you let go. You release the prayer. You release the desire. You release the outcome. You stop trying to figure out how it will happen. You stop trying to control when it will happen. You simply say, in your heart, it is done. I trust you. I rest in you. Good night. And you allow yourself to drift into sleep, knowing that while your body rests, the invisible work has already begun. While you breathe slowly and deeply, the subconscious mind is taking the seeds you planted and beginning to build. While you dream, the universe is rearranging itself in response to your alignment. While you sleep, the messengers of provision are walking ahead of you, preparing the way. And when you wake up tomorrow morning, something will already be different. You may not see it on the outside yet. The bank account may look the same. The phone may not have rung yet. The door may not have opened yet. But on the inside, something will have shifted. You will feel lighter. You will feel clearer. You will feel a quiet confidence that you did not have before. And from that inner shift, the outer shift always follows, because the visible always proceeds from the invisible. The harvest always proceeds from the seed. And what you plant tonight, in the soil of your subconscious, in the silence of your sleep, in the presence of the one who never sleeps, will not, cannot, return empty. The Bible says in Isaiah chapter 55 verse 11 that the word that goes out from the mouth of God will not return void, but will accomplish what he sent it to do. And here is the secret. The word that you speak in faith, aligned with his promises, sealed with his spirit, carries the same authority. It will not return void. It will accomplish. It will come back to you, not as words, but as evidence, not as hope, but as reality, not as wish, but as harvest. Now I want to take a moment to address something that I know is on your heart. You may be saying, but why has it been so hard? Why has the breakthrough been so delayed? Why have I been praying, working, believing, and still nothing seems to move? And I want to give you the most honest answer I can. The delay is never absence. The delay is preparation. The silence is never abandonment. The silence is alignment. God does not move late. God moves at the moment when you are finally ready to receive what he has been holding for you. And often, the reason the breakthrough has been delayed is not because it was not coming. It is because the container was not yet ready to hold it. If prosperity had come to you a year ago, it might have destroyed you. If the door had opened before you were transformed, you might have walked through it and lost yourself. So the season of waiting is not punishment. It is protection. It is preparation. It is the slow, careful work of a father who loves you too much to give you what you want before he has given you what you need. And what you need most of all is the renewed mind, the reprogrammed subconscious, the trained spirit that can hold abundance without being corrupted by it, that can hold influence without being intoxicated by it, that can hold provision without forgetting the provider. And this is what the nightly ritual is building in you, even when you cannot see it. Every night that you plant faith, every night that you declare, visualize, give thanks, and surrender, you are not just speaking to your future. You are becoming the kind of person who can carry that future. You are becoming the version of yourself that the prosperity is searching for. Because prosperity, the real kind, the kind that lasts, the kind that blesses generations, only flows to those who can hold it without breaking. Napoleon Hill said that no one ever becomes financially wealthy until they first become mentally wealthy. And mental wealth is built one night at a time, in the silence, in the prayer, in the practice. There are no shortcuts. There is no shortcut to a soul that can hold heaven. There is only the simple, sacred, repeated work of feeding the soul before sleep, until the soul becomes a magnet for everything that is rightfully yours. If you have stayed with me this far, I want you to know something. This is not an accident. The fact that you are still here listening, while many others would have already clicked away to something easier, something more distracting, something more shallow, tells me something about you. It tells me that you are the kind of person who is ready, the kind of person who is being prepared, the kind of person who is, perhaps without realizing it, standing at the threshold of a suddenly. And I want to encourage you, before we go any further, to leave a second comment below. Tell me what you most need to unlock right now. Is it financial breakthrough? Is it healing? Is it a door to a new chapter of your life? Just type it in the comments. Because the act of writing it down, of putting it into words, is itself a form of decree. It is a way of declaring, I am ready, I am open, I am receiving. And there is something profoundly powerful about that small act of faith. Let me continue now with something Napoleon Hill discovered that very few people talk about. He noticed in studying the lives of the most prosperous men and women of history that nearly every one of them had what he called a definite chief aim, a single, clear, burning desire that they kept before their mind day and night. But more than that, he noticed something else. They had learned to speak about that aim only in the language of accomplishment, even before it was accomplished. They would say, I am building, not I want to build. They would say, I am becoming, not I hope to become. They would say, I have, not I will have. Why? Because the subconscious mind does not respond to the future. The subconscious mind only responds to the present. The future is a concept that lives only in the conscious mind, but the subconscious lives in an eternal now. And so whatever you want to manifest, you must speak about it as if it is already so. Not because you are lying, but because, in the spiritual dimension, where everything is created before it appears, it already is. This is exactly what Jesus taught when he said, in the Gospel of Mark chapter 11, verse 24, Therefore I tell you, whatever you ask in prayer, believe that you have received it, and it will be yours. Notice the order. Believe that you have received, past tense, already done, already in your hands, and then, and only then, will it be yours in the visible world. The visible follows the invisible. The seen follows the unseen. The harvest follows the seed. And the seed planted at night in the soil of faith, watered by tears of gratitude, sealed with the breath of surrender, will grow. Not because you forced it, not because you earned it, but because that is the law. That is the design. That is how the kingdom of heaven works, both in the spirit and in the mind. Now here is something I want you to understand very deeply. The reason this works for just one night, the reason that the title of this message promised you that one night could unlock your prosperity, is because of a phenomenon that both the mystics and the wise have observed. The first night that you do this ritual with full faith, with full intention, with full emotion, you create what is called an imprint. An imprint is a deep, lasting impression on the subconscious mind that does not fade easily. Most people never experience this because they have never done the ritual correctly even once. They have done partial versions. They have done it with distraction, with skepticism, with half a heart. But when you finally do it once, completely, with everything in you, something locks in. A new pattern is set. A new frequency begins to play. And from that one night, the ripples begin to spread. That does not mean you only do it once. You do it as many nights as you can, because the more you reinforce the imprint, the more powerful the manifestation becomes. But the truth is, even one night, done with full presence and full faith, can begin a chain reaction. People have testified throughout the centuries of one night of prayer, one night of fasting, one night of decree, that changed the entire course of their lives. Hannah went to the temple one night, poured out her soul before the Lord, and walked away pregnant with the prophet Samuel after years of barrenness. Daniel set his face to pray one night, and the answer was dispatched the same hour. Jacob wrestled one night and was renamed Israel. One night can change everything. If it is the right night, in the right state, with the right intention. And tonight can be that night for you. If you choose it, if you set it apart, if you treat it not as another ordinary evening, but as a sacred appointment with your future. So before you go to sleep tonight, prepare your space, prepare your heart, prepare your mind. Decide that this will not be another night of scrolling and worrying and falling asleep with the television on. This will be the night when you stepped into your own life, the night when you took the keys back, the night when you said with your whole heart, I am ready to receive what has always been mine. I want to share with you a deeper teaching now. There is a verse in the Old Testament in the book of Deuteronomy chapter 8 verse 18 that says, Remember the Lord your God, for it is He who gives you power to get wealth. Power to get wealth, not the wealth itself. Power to get it. There is a difference. Many people pray for the wealth, but God does not usually give wealth in a basket dropped from heaven. He gives the power to get it. He gives the ideas. He gives the discernment. He gives the energy. He gives the favor with people. He gives the open doors. He gives the unexpected encounters. He gives the sudden inspiration that becomes the business, the book, the invention, the investment, the relationship, the opportunity. And this power, this divine empowerment for prosperity, is most clearly received when the mind is most open. When is the mind most open? In the moments before sleep. So when you go to bed asking the Father, not just for things, but for power, not just for results, but for ideas, not just for outcomes, but for direction, you are accessing the deepest channel of provision available to a human being. Napoleon Hill himself testified that some of his greatest insights came in the moments between waking and sleeping. He called them hunches, but he believed they were communications from what he called infinite intelligence. He taught that anyone who learned to access this state daily, especially at night, would begin to receive impressions, intuitions, and ideas that could be acted upon during the day to produce extraordinary results. He said that the difference between a wealthy person and a poor person was often not in their education, not in their connections, not even in their luck, but in their ability to listen to and act upon these inner promptings. And the soil from which those promptings grew was the soil of the nightly mind, fed with faith, watered with prayer, tended with discipline. This is the secret hiding in plain sight. While most of the world is using the most powerful hours of their lives to entertain themselves into numbness, you have been given access to the truth. You have been shown the door, and the only question now is whether you will walk through it. Tonight, not tomorrow, not when conditions are better, not when you have more time. Tonight. Because the only night you can ever change anything is the night you actually have. And the only person who can change your life is you. With God, in the silence, in the dark, in the holy hour before the world wakes up to a new day. If something in you is stirring right now, if you feel the truth of these words landing somewhere deep inside you, do not let this moment pass without action. Take just one deep breath right now wherever you are and silently make a promise to yourself. Tonight, I begin. Just that. Tonight, I begin. Because that small inner vow made now, while the truth is still fresh, will become the bridge between this message and the rest of your life. Many people listen, agree, and forget. Few people listen, agree, and act. The ones who act are the ones whose lives transform. The ones who forget remain in the same place a year from now, wondering why nothing ever changed. Choose to be among the few. Choose tonight. Choose now. I want to give you something even more practical. I want to share what I would call the night decree, a short, powerful sequence of words that you can use tonight, exactly as I'm going to say them, or adapted with your own language, but containing the same spiritual elements. Listen carefully. Before you fall asleep, after you have breathed, after you have quieted yourself, after you have entered the inner room, you say, I am yours. I belong to you. I trust you with every part of my life. I release every fear, every burden, every hurry. I open my mind, my heart, and my spirit to receive what you have prepared for me. I am ready for the abundance, the favor, the wisdom, and the breakthrough that are written for me from before the foundation of the world. I declare that prosperity is unlocking in my life now. I declare that doors are opening. I declare that people are being moved. I declare that ideas are being awakened. I declare that everything is beginning to work out, suddenly, in ways I could not have planned. I receive it now. I receive it with gratitude. I receive it in peace. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It is done. Amen. Speak those words tonight. Speak them slowly. Speak them with feeling. and then go to sleep without taking it back, without worrying, without trying to figure out the how. Trust the one who never sleeps to do while you rest what you could never do by trying. Now I want to address something that many people struggle with, because if I do not address it, the enemy of your soul will use it to steal your breakthrough. The struggle is this: you will do this tonight, and you will wake up tomorrow, and at first, on the surface, nothing will look different. The bank account will be the same. The boss will still be difficult. The bills will still be there. And the voice of doubt, the same voice that has stolen so many of your dreams in the past, will rise and say, "See, it did not work. It was just words. Nothing has changed." And in that exact moment, you will face a choice. You can listen to the voice of doubt and abandon the practice, or you can recognize the voice for what it is, the desperate last resistance of the old life trying to keep you trapped, and you can choose, again, to plant faith, to plant trust, to plant patience. Because the harvest is always preceded by a season of unseen growth. The seed in the soil looks dead before it sprouts. The egg looks still before the bird breaks the shell. The dawn is darkest just before the sun rises. And the breakthrough is most invisible the moment before it arrives. Do not give up at the gate of your own miracle. The Bible says in the book of Galatians chapter 6 verse 9, "Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up." If we do not give up, that is the only condition, that is the only requirement. Do not give up. Do not give up on the practice. Do not give up on the prayer. Do not give up on the vision. Do not give up on yourself. Because the moment when most people give up is precisely the moment when, if they had held on one more day, one more week, one more month, the suddenly would have happened. The breakthrough was so close. The answer was already on its way. The provision was already in motion, but they could not see it, and so they walked away from it. Do not walk away. Stay. Trust. Plant again. Plant tonight. Plant tomorrow night. Plant every night. Until the world around you cannot help but match the world you have been building inside. I want to share with you a story that Napoleon Hill told often. He told of a man who, during the great gold rush, bought a piece of land, dug for gold, and found a small vein. He invested everything he had to bring up more equipment, but then the vein disappeared. He dug and dug, but no more gold appeared. Finally, in despair, he sold the equipment and the land to a junk dealer and went home defeated. The junk dealer, before tearing everything down, hired a mining engineer to take a look. The engineer studied the land and told the junk dealer to dig just 3 feet further from where the first man had stopped. 3 feet, just 3 feet. The junk dealer dug, and there, 3 feet from where the first man had given up, was a vein of gold that made him a fortune. The original digger never recovered from the lesson. He spent the rest of his life telling people, never give up 3 feet from gold. Many of you are 3 feet from gold right now. You have been digging, you have been believing, you have been praying, and you are about to stop. Please, please hear me. Do not stop now. Dig 3 more feet. Plant 3 more nights. Decree 3 more times. Trust 3 more days. Because the harvest is closer than you think. The breakthrough is just around the corner. And it would be a tragedy beyond words to walk away from your destiny because you grew tired the night before it arrived. Take a deep breath now. Let those words sink in. And if they have touched something in you, do something simple. Tap that like button again. Or leave a comment with the words, 3 more feet. Just those 3 words, 3 more feet. Because every time you put words to a commitment, you make it more real. You declare to yourself, to the world and to heaven, that you are not giving up, that you are still digging, that you are still planting, that you are still believing. And small as that comment is, it is an act of war against the spirit of discouragement. It is an act of agreement with the spirit of perseverance. It is an act of alignment with the destiny written for you. Now I want to take you into one of the deepest truths I have ever encountered, and I share it gently because it is sacred. The truth is this: prosperity is not just about money. Prosperity is alignment. It is the condition of a soul that is in right relationship with its source. When a soul is aligned, money flows, but so does peace, so does love, so does health, so does wisdom, so does favor, so does joy, so does purpose. Money is just one of the many rivers that flow from the well of alignment, and when you focus only on the money, you often miss the well. But when you focus on the well, on the alignment, on the relationship, on the daily, nightly practice of returning to your center, all the rivers begin to flow. This is what the prophet Isaiah meant when he wrote, "Seek the Lord while he may be found. Call on him while he is near." There is a nearness that is available to every soul that quiets itself enough to perceive it. And in that nearness, everything that you have been chasing begins to find you, because you stop chasing. And what you stop chasing when you are aligned begins to chase you. This is the great paradox of the kingdom. The way up is down. The way to gain is to release. The way to receive is to give. The way to find your life is to lose it. And the way to unlock your prosperity is to surrender your striving and trust the Father, who already knows what you need before you ask. Napoleon Hill, in some of his more spiritual writings, came to a similar conclusion late in his life. He said that all of his research, all of his interviews with the wealthy, all of his analysis of success, had finally led him to one inescapable conclusion. There is a universal intelligence, a source, a God, that responds to faith. And faith is not an emotion. Faith is a state of mind, a trained, cultivated, disciplined state of mind that holds against all evidence the truth that what is desired, when aligned with purpose and the higher good, is already on its way. Napoleon Hill said that the difference between those who became rich and those who did not was in the end the difference in the quality of their faith. Not their intelligence, not their opportunities, not their background, their faith. And faith, he said, is most powerfully cultivated in the silence, in the night, in the personal communion with the source, when no one is watching, when no one is applauding, when it is just the soul and its maker, alone in the dark, agreeing on what is to come. So I want to ask you tonight, when you finally lie down, will you give yourself this gift? Will you take 15 minutes, just 15 minutes, out of the hours you would have spent on entertainment, on worry, on noise, and offer them as a holy offering to the one who has been waiting for your attention? Will you treat this not as a self-help technique, but as a sacred meeting? Will you bring your whole heart, your whole hope, your whole hunger, and place them at the feet of the one who knows your name and has counted every hair on your head? Because if you will, I tell you, on the authority of Scripture and on the testimony of countless lives, you will not leave that meeting unchanged. You will not. You cannot. Because no soul has ever come to that altar in faith and walked away the same. I want to give you a few more practical anchors because I want you to have everything you need to do this tonight without any confusion. First, choose your space. It does not have to be elaborate. It can be your bed. It can be a chair in the corner. It can be the floor by a window. What matters is that you set it apart. Set it apart in your mind as the place where you meet with God. Second, choose your time. Ideally in the 33 minutes before you intend to sleep. Set a reminder if you need to, but treat the time as untouchable. The world can wait. Your phone can wait. The messages can wait. Your destiny cannot. Third, choose your words. Write them down if it helps. Write 3 or 4 declarations that align with what you most need to manifest. Write a prayer of gratitude. Write the night decree. Have them on a small card by your bed so that you do not have to think when the moment comes. You can simply read them, slowly, with feeling, and let them do their work. Fourth, choose your faith. Choose every night to believe, even when you do not feel like it, even when the day was hard, even when the news was bad, even when the bank account was lower than you hoped. Choose by an act of the will to believe again, because faith is a choice before it is a feeling. The feeling follows the choice. The peace follows the trust. The breakthrough follows the surrender. And fifth, choose to be patient, not passive, not lazy, patient. There is a difference. Passive means doing nothing and waiting for life to happen. Patient means doing everything you can do, planting every seed you can plant, and then trusting the season for the rest. Be patient. Watch with hope. Listen with attention. Notice the small signs, the unexpected idea in the morning, the phone call out of nowhere, the peace that descends in the middle of a difficult day. These are the breadcrumbs of the breakthrough. Follow them, honor them, give thanks for them, because each one is the universe whispering, "I heard you, I am moving, stay close." Now I want to address those of you who feel like you are already too far gone, those of you who have made mistakes, those of you who have wasted years, those of you who feel like the train has left and you are standing on the platform alone. I want to tell you something that the world will not tell you, but heaven will. It is not too late. It is never too late. The God of the Bible is the God of second chances, third chances, 70th chances. He is the God who restored Job double what he had lost. He is the God who turned a persecutor named Saul into the Apostle Paul. He is the God who took a shepherd boy who was overlooked by his own family and made him a king. He is the God who, when the prodigal son turned around and started home, ran to meet him before the boy could even finish his apology. That is who is waiting for you tonight. Not a judge waiting to condemn, a father waiting to embrace. And the moment you turn in your heart toward him in the silence of your room, in the night of your soul, he is already running toward you. The robe is being prepared. The ring is being polished. The feast is being set. All for you. All because you finally came home. And here is the wonder of it. He does not wait for you to fix yourself before he blesses you. He blesses you so that you can be transformed. He does not wait for you to deserve it. He gives it because he loves you. The work of changing you is not your burden. It is his joy. Your burden is just to come. Your burden is just to receive. Your burden is just to say yes. Yes to the embrace. Yes to the meal. Yes to the new name. Yes to the new identity. Yes to the new life that has been prepared for you from before time began. And tonight, in the moments before sleep, you can say that yes. You can come home. You can let it begin. The Bible says in the Gospel of John, chapter 10, verse 10, that the thief comes only to steal, kill, and destroy. But the Good Shepherd came that we might have life and have it abundantly. Abundantly. That word is not accidental. It means overflowing. It means more than enough. It means a measure that overflows, presses down, runs over, and spills into the laps of others. That is the kind of life you were called to. Not survival, not just making it. Abundance, overflow. Enough for you and for everyone around you. Enough to bless, enough to give, enough to live with open hands and a grateful heart. And the path to that abundance does not begin with a strategy. It begins with surrender. It begins with the night. It begins with the soft, sacred meeting between your soul and the one who made you. I want to share one more thing with you before we close, because it is something that touches my heart very deeply. There is a tendency, when we begin to walk in this kind of practice, to want everything to change at once. We want the breakthrough on the third day. We want the abundance by the end of the week. We want the proof, we want the reward, we want the confirmation, and we want it now. And I understand. The hunger is real. The pain that pushed you to seek this is real. But I want to gently remind you that the deepest, most lasting, most beautiful blessings rarely arrive on the schedule we set. They arrive on the schedule that is right. They arrive when the heart is ready, when the timing is good, when the rooms in your life have been swept clean enough to receive the guest. So even as you decree tonight, even as you visualize tonight, even as you give thanks tonight, hold your timeline loosely. Hold your expectations open. Make room for God to surprise you in ways you would never have asked for. Because the answers he gives are almost always better than the answers we requested. The doors he opens are almost always larger than the doors we knocked on. The life he builds is almost always more beautiful than the life we drew on paper. Trust him. Trust the timing, trust the unfolding, and the night, every night, becomes a place where you remember that he is good, even when the day did not feel that way. I can feel that we are nearing the end of this message, and I want to make sure that nothing of what has been spoken is lost. I want to make sure that you do not just hear this, but that you keep this. So let me ask you gently to do something. Before this video ends, if you have not yet subscribed to this channel, please do it now. Tap that subscribe button. Turn on notifications, because here in this small corner of the internet we are building a sanctuary, a place where every week you can come back and be reminded of the truths that the world is constantly trying to make you forget. The world is loud. The world is fast. The world is full of voices that want to pull you back into fear, into scarcity, into striving. But this channel exists to be a quiet voice that calls you back to who you really are, to remind you of the promises, to walk with you through the night seasons, to stand with you at the threshold of every suddenly. So subscribe, not just for yourself, but for the version of yourself you are becoming. The version that needs to hear these messages again and again until they are not just heard but lived, until they are not just thoughts, but the very fabric of who you are. And if this message has touched you, please share it. Share it with one person, just one. Send it to a friend who is going through a hard season. Send it to a family member who has lost hope. Send it to a co-worker who is silently struggling. Because what you have received tonight, you have not received only for yourself. You have received it to be a carrier, a vessel, a channel through which the same light can reach others. And in the act of sharing, you multiply what you have received. The more you give it away, the more it returns to you in ways you cannot calculate. This is the law of the harvest. Whatever you sow, you reap, and whatever you sow in faith and generosity, you reap with interest. Now, as we come to the close of this message, I want to leave you with one final truth. A truth so simple and so profound that if you carry only one thing from this entire video, let it be this. You are not alone. You have never been alone. From the moment you were knit together in your mother's womb, there has been a presence walking with you, a love sustaining you, a purpose calling you. Every step of your journey, every detour, every disappointment, every triumph has been seen, has been counted, has been gathered into the great tapestry that is being woven for your good and for His glory. The nights when you cried yourself to sleep, He was there. The mornings when you did not want to get up, He was there. The moments when you felt invisible, He saw you. The seasons when you felt forgotten, you were being remembered. And tonight, as you prepare to lie down and do this sacred work, you are not doing it alone. He is with you. He is in you. He is for you. And nothing in heaven or on earth can separate you from the love that has chosen you. So go now with peace in your heart. Go and prepare. Go and create the space. Go and quiet the noise. Go and breathe and decree and visualize and give thanks. Go and plant the seeds of the harvest that is coming. And then go and sleep. Sleep in peace. Sleep in faith. Sleep in the arms of the one who never slumbers, because when you wake up tomorrow, you will be one night closer to your suddenly, one night closer to the breakthrough, one night closer to the prosperity that is already even now finding its way to you. Suddenly everything will start working out, because you finally did what you were always meant to do. You came home, you surrendered, you believed, you planted, you trusted. And in the silence, in the dark, in the holy hour before the dawn, you became the kind of soul that prosperity could not refuse to find. If this message has spoken to your heart, do these 3 small things before you leave. First, give this video a like. It is a small act of agreement, but it carries great power. Second, leave a comment below. Tell me what you are decreeing tonight, what you are planting, what you are believing for. Let your words be a seed. Let them be a declaration. Let them be the first decree of the new season of your life. And third, subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications so that you do not miss the messages that are still to come. Because there is more. There is so much more. And I do not want you to walk this road alone. And now, my friend, go in peace, go in faith, go in expectation. Tonight, do the work. Tonight, plant the seed. Tonight, open the door. And tomorrow, watch as the one who works while you sleep begins to bring forth in the visible world what you have been agreeing with in the invisible. Watch as the impossible begins to bend. Watch as the locked begins to open. Watch as the dry places begin to flow with water. Because you, beloved, are about to experience your suddenly, and there is no force on earth, no doubt in your own heart, no failure in your past, that can stop what God has set in motion when you, at last, said yes. Good night. Sleep well, be blessed, and remember, you are loved, you are seen, you are chosen, and the very best of your life is still yet to come.